With us this morning is Elizabeth McCormick, a member of the Board of Directors for Grace After Fire. She directs and oversees all efforts and activities related to developing and implementing an innovative peer-to-peer counseling program that assists women veterans returning to civilian life after service to their country, and she's a former Black Hawk pilot. And here to talk this morning about this despicable story that we have about a secret list at the VA treatment centers. We heard about Phoenix. We're hearing about some other places now. Elizabeth joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show. Elizabeth, always good to have you on the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Tell me, we always talk about thanking our veterans. I'm sure you've been thanked a lot over the years for your service, and I thank you here. But thank you doesn't really hold very much water here. We have 40 people die waiting for help from the VA, and we have these secret lists that they're talking about out there. Eric Shinseki is going to be testifying about that alleged secret list, I believe, today on the Hill. Your thoughts about this morning as a veteran, as a human being?
It's absolutely inexcusable. And the 40 is just at Phoenix, reportedly at the Phoenix location, let alone the other locations around the country. So the lack of availability of medical care to veterans that are in pain, that are or have not been diagnosed with, something like one example that I heard about was for colon cancer, and by the time he got the appointment, it was stage 4. Yeah,
and yet these are the people that we call our heroes, and they are. I mean, people like you. I mean, we call them our heroes, and yet. We have covering up treatment delays. Why would we delay treatment for these people? I mean, are the backlogs that bad? Is there something wrong here that fundamentally needs to be fixed? I mean, I hear a lot of good stories. Our VA center here in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, I hear a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. I'm sure there are people that have some problems, but overall they say pretty good things. What is the look nationally right now at the whole VA system?
Nationally, there's two issues. There's one issue is that the Department of Defense, there should be no lag in integration. The Department of Defense, they know someone's getting out. They're either retiring, they're being medically discharged, or their contract is up. We know they're leaving. So there's no reason that there shouldn't be a better, quicker handover to the Department of Veteran Affairs, to the medical system, so there's no lag. I mean, I hear of soldiers and sailors and airmen that are coming out of the service and waiting up to 2 years to get seen, to get evaluated, to even be able to use the veterans.
Good God. Yeah. I mean,
it's just ridiculous. There's no excuse for that.
This hearing's taking place today with the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. Started at 10 a.m., about 15 minutes from now. And it's coming just 8 days after the American Legion called for Eric Shinseki, who's a former general, obviously, in our military, and 2 of his top executives to resign over the latest controversy and a string of other troubles, including the agency's long-standing backlog of disability claims you alluded to there, and preventable deaths at medical centers. And lawmakers are probably going to challenge Shinseki today over the amount of time he took to order the preservation of all electronic and paper evidence related to the purported treatment delays. One of the things that Americans are getting tired of, I think, are excuses in this country. And we have very little tolerance, I think, Elizabeth, for excuses when it comes to our veterans. And so I don't know that Shinseki is going to get very good treatment up on the Hill today. Should he resign? I mean, should he have resigned over just incompetence here, or do we give him a chance to kind of get up there and speak his mind?
What's best for the veterans? Is it best for the veteran to force his resignation and bring somebody else in that might not be up to speed, that might take months to really evaluate and figure out the system, and is that really serving the veteran best?
Well, that's great. That's a great point. So, but by the same token, has his action so far served the veterans well there? And so, yeah, you're betwixt a rock and a hard place. Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman Jeff Miller, who's from Florida, has said he requested the action at an April 9th hearing, but that the department did not comply for 8 days. Here again, we're seeing the idea that people who are supposed to be responsible for the brave among us don't feel like, is it a lack of caring for people? Is it allowing them to become numbers in a system? I mean, I don't understand how we can humanly of all the people in this country, I mean, everybody deserves to have care. But of all the people in this country, how in the world could you possibly let this go for 8 days and not answer?
It's absolutely inexcusable. How much of it is bureaucracy? How much of it he's insulated and not truly seeing what's going on the ground floor level? I mean, those are questions I hope he answers today.
How big do you think this thing is? You know, we started with the whole idea that we had a VA doctor in the Phoenix Health Clinic in the VA who developed a secret system to hide treatment delays, possibly affecting dozens of patients who died while waiting for care. We've heard 40. Then we heard some more things last week, I believe, in Nebraska. Now we're hearing about other places, too. How big?
South Carolina. San Antonio.
So is this a modus operandi for the agency, or is it too early to really kind of get a feel for that and think, okay, maybe it's just pockets of people who just are doing what they do?
Here's a better question. Is it not the modus operandi of our government for the employees to CYA instead of doing what's right?
Well, we see that all the time. I mean, how many different scandals do we have going on right now in this administration that are unanswered? And how many people have been affected? We've had people die. We've had other people who have been had their lives destroyed. The IRS scandal. People who want to get out there and speak their mind. I mean, every part of our human lives seem to be going after. Now, even the veterans seem to not be allowed to escape that kind of attitude.
What it's really going to take is for Shinseki to come in and say, I want the truth. And we need to demand the truth.
Sure.
As citizens, we need to demand the truth. Without repercussions. So if a facility like Phoenix is really having a seven month backlog because they don't have enough doctors, if the one in South Carolina can't get a veteran in for a colonoscopy that could diagnose cancer, because there's not enough equipment or not enough doctors, let's report it. Let's get the information up higher, and let's start getting some assets into the places that they need to be to fix it.
Well, correct.
And that's the bottom line. We're not fixing it.
Correcting the problem, and instead of covering up, instead of doing these things where, and you go, aren't lives worth that? Aren't our soldiers' lives worth that? I know Shinseki is getting ready to go up on the Hill right now in a few minutes, so we're going to see what he has to say today, but I'm fairly sure people are going to watch this very closely, and I don't think the leash is real long for him today. Do you, Elizabeth?
Oh, he's on some thin ice, I would say. He, and we've already seen a little glimpse of what his planned statement of what he's already had that sent out.
Yeah.
And what concerns me is the lack of responsibility that he takes for the VA. And he needs to say, there are problems. Here's what we're doing to work on it, and communicate what the plan is for the solution. And that's what I'm just not seeing.
I think it's called manning up.
Or womaning.
Or womaning up. I don't want to be, I don't want to get called a chauvinist here, because I'll have you on again and you'll give me a whipping. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking the time with us this morning. Serious problem. We want to watch it today, and hopefully there's going to be some reasonable conversation and solutions quickly coming out of this whole thing.
I hope so. Be sure to visit graceafterfire.org.
We'll do it. Elizabeth McCormick with us here on the Gary Sutton Show. Elizabeth, always a pleasure. Thank you.